Chance Burleson. Welcome back, episode 2, Legends and Dragons podcast. We appreciate all the feedback. The reason why we're recording it today in landscape because we received word that our legs were causing people to stumble.
Yes.
And the thing we don't want to do is break up a happy home.
No.
Because of our legs.
No. Are you taller than you? Look taller than
I think
me.
I'm about 5. I'm 5'10".
I'm 5'10". Am I slouching?
I don't know. Man.
Is that why? Hold on.
I don't know. Probably.
Oh, there we go.
Oh, that's probably better. Hey, I ever tell you the homeless story?
No, but tell me.
So, I mean, this is a kickoff thing here. So, years ago, and I believe that almost every veteran goes through a phase of they're not shaving anymore. Like forget when grow beard. So I let my beard grow, and it looked like I was probably a homeless dude. So I've been trying to trim it, make it look good. But years ago, at my daughter and son's school, there was a field behind the soccer field, like long grass or whatever. And there was a little storage unit, brick storage unit, and the rumors were there was a homeless guy back there living. I mean, spread. You know how kids spread all these rumors and whatever. Sure. Yeah, there's a homeless guy back there. It's like, okay. So I walked back there one time when all the moms were under the pavilion playground, all the kids were playing, whatever. So I walk back there and I see the shed, the brick shed, and I go back, and there's clothes back there. It looked like someone had been living there.
Right.
So I walk out. I was like, huh. And I had my headphones on, getting my steps. And I see this commotion on the other by the playground.
A ruckus.
A ruckus of the kids. And so as I'm walking the length of the soccer field, I get back to where the playground is, and I see these moms. Like now they're laughing, whatever. And one of the moms called me over. I'm like, okay, so I get my earbuds out. And they said, Jimmy, the girls were yelling, there's the homeless guy. There's the home. And I was like, what? They were like, yeah. And I had to say, no, that's Journey's dad. That's not a homeless guy.
Yeah.
Fast forward to another homeless story. My lovely bride wanted to do this, like a PTA meeting, parents meeting in the morning. And it was my day off. And I said, I'm not going.
No.
Sorry, babe. I'm going to walk the parking lot.
Mm-hmm.
While you're in there in the school, I'm just going to walk the parking lot, get my steps. Door opens up. One of the teachers that I know, she sees me from a distance, and I was like, oh, maybe she wants to talk to me. I'll see her when I hit the loop. So I'm walking on the outskirts of the school because I don't want to cause any scene. I don't want the kids to...
Another ruckus.
Another ruckus.
Right.
Here comes a teacher and 2 security guards. They're making a beeline right for me. And I see their posture. I mean, they are walking with purpose, with intent, just to me. And then as soon as I see them, I kind of wave, and now their shoulders are relaxed. Now there's some more relaxed stance. And they come over to me. I shake their hand. I'm like, hey, how's it going, guys? And they know me. Like, hey, Jimmy, we just had to come out here because we got a report of a homeless guy walking around the school property. If I was thinking fast enough, I would have said, haven't seen him. Haven't seen the homeless guy. No, I haven't seen him. It was me. They called on me.
Mm-hmm.
Now, the last homeless story that I will tell you is probably about a month ago, maybe. Here down the street by In-N-Out Burger. We have an In-N-Out Burger here, by the way.
Yeah, we do.
So In-N-Out, there's a guy with a sign, homeless guy. He's a veteran. At least that's what the sign is. Help a veteran out there. So I pull into the parking lot. I was like, I'll make a quick U-turn, go park my car. And I give the guy a couple bucks, but now I'm talking to him. I'm like, hey, just trying to get a story. Say, hey, man, I appreciate what you've done for the country, all the service. He goes, thanks, man. I've just fallen on hard times. And another car pulls up.
Gives you some money.
Gives me and the guy, hey, guys, here's a few bucks. I'm like, what?
Right.
I'm not the homeless guy.
Right. So
I take the money, like, I'm not you know what? Never mind. So I give the guy the money, get in the car, walk away, and I look at myself in the rearview mirror. I'm like, All right. Time to trim up. Time to trim up the beard. Yeah, anyways, hey man, how was the seminar? How was the bullying? Last episode we talked about it.
Yes.
How was it?
Yes. Well, first I would like to say that I want to do my part by giving the homeless a chance to do a podcast with me, and hopefully this can bring your station up in the world.
I appreciate. Thank you for this opportunity to not be homeless.
Right. The bullying seminar went really well. We used Hanshi Kovar's kind of structure and framework of Done with Bullying.
Okay.
It's a really great program that he's come up with, him and his team in Kovar Systems, where they presented this material, and it's a multi-hour workshop. I only kind of hit the high points of it.
Okay.
But it's meant to be done over like 4 or 5 weeks or several hours of a workshop. And it's a really cool thing that he did, because he says, I'm going to give this to all the karate schools that I work with across the world, because he works with martial arts schools everywhere. He said, but here's the condition. The condition is that you can't use this to enroll students.
Okay.
So if you give me your word that you won't hard sell them at the end of this seminar and try to get them into enroll in your school, I'll give you this program. But I don't want you to use it to increase your business. I want you to do it just to give back to the community. And that kind of stuff's just right up my alley.
Right.
As much as I try to be a business person, I got to tell you, it's my Achilles heel of running a karate school is the business side of it. It's my least favorite part of what I do.
Right.
I love the teaching. I love the people. I love the relationships. But the nuts and bolts of, ROI and marketing campaigns and engagements and I just learned what the word algorithm meant just maybe that I was today years old. I still think it's like sorcery. I don't really understand it.
Okay.
But I like the concept of, if you help enough people with no kind of handout asking, generally things work out for you in the business sense.
Yeah.
But if you're always doing it in a transactional way, if you're always doing, I'm going to do this, but you have to do this for me, things never really work out that well.
Right.
It's almost like like the Pharisees dropping the coin in to make the loud noise.
Yeah.
Like that's your reward.
Right.
Is the tangible thing. But I'm looking for something more. I do want to be a successful business, but I also want to feel really good about what I'm doing.
Right.
I got to believe in it. And so in that kind of vein, it went great.
Yeah.
It was, we got a couple of people that weren't our students, but mostly it was our students. And it gave our TNTs, our instructor trainees, an opportunity to kind of engage with the students and work with them. So it was good. It was very good.
That's good. You do it monthly? Are you going to do it monthly, or are you going to do it?
No, I'm going to do it on an event-based thing.
Okay.
We used to, last year, what we did is we did a free women's self-defense every month.
Right.
For the community service. And some months we would have a ton of people, right? We'd have 12, 14, 20 people. Some months we had 2 or 3. And I think it was because it was constantly offered every month.
Right.
People would skip it knowing that they could do it again.
Gotcha.
So I think that having fewer, we're going to get more participation in it.
Right.
Does that make sense?
No, I think that makes perfect sense. In fact, you and I know that Greg and Philip over at Carlos Machado's just did a women's seminar,
and it was huge.
It went well, and so I think obviously there's a benefit for ladies, and of course the bullying seminars. I think those are outstanding, and I think. Oh, by the way, my wife, she's not watching this because I already asked her. I said, "Hey, babe, did you watch this?" And she goes, "Listen, it's not my topic. I'll give you a like and I'll give you a follow." That's what she said. But the part that she did listen to, she said, "Hey, once you and Chance start getting into this podcast, maybe you should have an agenda, like bullet points to hit." I don't know if you know this or not. We don't have any paper with us, so there's no bullies. And she said I need to look in the camera more. And now, like when I'm looking at you, I'm like, should I just stare into the
Yeah.
like I don't know. Like yeah, just
So Jimmy, what do you?
you know, Sarah, it's like so weird. It's like so weird. We want this conversational, but I kind of give the feedback that she gave. But anyways, all that to say, ladies, be on the lookout for any local gyms that may have a self-defense seminar. I think it's very, very important that obviously our women are protected and at least have the tools to fight off anything. And bullying seminar, I have a very soft spot in my heart for kids who are bullied. I was bullied as a kid growing up.
I was bullied and I could fight.
It's the craziest thing. And then my son right now, who is we talked last episode, is a phenomenal martial artist in my opinion. Great thing. But now he's getting into the basketball world.
Mm-hmm.
He wants to do basketball. And he's reading books about even the basketball, the Kobe's, probably the Michael Jordans. I don't remember who else he was saying that they were even bullied.
Mm-hmm.
They were being bullied for being the tall kid at school.
Well, this is what people don't understand about bullying. At its basis level, it's I'm going to beat you up.
Yeah.
But that's not the only weapon in their arsenal.
Right.
Really, the most hurtful type of bullying that I have found, and this works on people who can defend themselves. Jimmy, you don't belong.
Yeah.
You don't belong with us.
No, that's good stuff.
You can't be a part of us. And there's something wrong with you, and everybody sees it. That kind of stuff. It doesn't matter if you can fight.
Right.
Like that hurts your heart.
Yeah.
And especially in the advent of the digital age, like, you know, the online bullying. I mean, it's just insane. And that has nothing to do with kicks and punches, man.
Right.
It's nothing to do with it.
Right.
You know, so.
Yeah, nice. You know, I'm glad you said that. So raising kids, see, we were obviously born in a generation without the technology.
Mm-hmm.
We weren't always plugged in.
No.
We didn't have the news.
There's nothing to plug into.
In fact, this is funny. So when I show my kids, they were in the car and I was like, roll down the window.
Mm-hmm.
Like you and I know.
Yeah.
The kids were like,
what does that mean?
What are you doing? Exactly. Like how many parents you go, hey, other than
right.
You know, we go like this.
Right.
They had no idea.
Right.
Or I told my kids, hang up the phone. What do you mean, hang up the phone?
The red button, dude.
Yeah. Just end it. Anyway, all that to say, navigating kids in this world with social media and access to the phone, it's difficult.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, even if so, the way that I raise our kids is that we limit screen time. They don't get screen time. Now, my daughter, who's 17, she'll be 18 this year. We have helped navigate it. Obviously, we let her wings out, and we're trying to kick her out of the nest. But to hear some of the nonsense that she even receives from Instagram, from texting, like I love her dearly. You know, my daughter, but she sent Master Valdez because she works at Excel Academy. She wanted to send a text like, "Hey, Master Valdez, I have school. I have this. I have the reason why I'm not in class. I might not be able to do such and such." And what I've told her, and I think what we have lost and what we need to teach the next generation is the face-to-face. Like, don't text your boss. Talk to your boss face-to-face. And even break it up via text, that's crazy. Like, to me, I'm like, what do you mean you break up text? Like, go to your person like, hey, I don't want to date you anymore. Like,
right.
Where did we lose that face-to-face connection? Anyway, parents, I encourage you with your kids. Obviously, you got to parent your kids. You're not your kid's friend. You're your parent, or you're their parent. Limit the screen time. Know what they're getting into. And continue to have that open dialogue with them. I'm not perfect by any means. Believe me, I got my own garbage. I got my own issues. But you need to do something. I know how easy it is to hand the kids the iPad or the phone. Say, here, play. But we've lost the art of go outside, come back home when the street lights are on. Go get yourself in trouble.
Well, and I think so. And I was just talking to one of the parents here about this last night. So I think that as parents, like we have to take responsibility for the culprit behind the screen addiction.
Yes.
And here's the reason why. We want to say kids these days. And I don't know if anybody's ever seen the meme about somebody was quoted saying, like, you know, kids these days are blah, 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 blah. Everything that you hear people say about kids. And the quote was from a Greek philosopher, BC. So people have been saying this about the youth of this generation for thousands of years. Right? And one of the most important things that I have really learned over the course of my eons that I've been alive is, what is my part? What is my part? I look at a situation that I find unacceptable to me. What is my part? And the reason I find that kids are so hooked on screens is them being hooked on screens makes it easier for us as parents.
Yes, 100%. I 100%.
We like them to be shut up and distracted because then we don't have to deal with that. And so when we start taking responsibility for our role in that as parents, then we'll understand. It's kind of like this. The reason most of us don't want to ground our children is because we're grounded too.
Yes.
When they're grounded, we're grounded. We can't do, like, we don't enjoy our lives as much when they're grounded. And so it's kind of like you understand that when you play the role as a parent, you have to co-punish yourself when your children have consequences.
And we don't want that.
And when we let them off the hook early, we're letting ourselves off the hook. We're not being the good guy. We're being lazy.
Yeah. No, that's true. So in the same vein, if you will, don't let your kids quit. I think we probably talked about this.
We covered this, yeah.
So the thing is, you have to stand true. And I find that I have to stand true to my word. If I ground my kids,
for this long, it has to be for that long.
Now, I will say that there have been times where I've been like, all right, I'm cutting this off like a day short, like, because I'm exhausted by you being down. You constantly beat me down. So no matter what your kids get involved in, don't let them quit. Once they start to quit, then it's going to be a lot easier for them to quit things later on in the future. So again, I'm a huge advocate of supporting small business, right? Find a dojo, find a school, find an academy that you can plug your kids into, because there are great teachers out there that will help them. And once they make the decision to get on the mats, don't let them quit. My kids had no choice. They had no choice to quit. But the reason why I didn't give them a choice is because they chose to get on the mats.
You made them honor their word.
That's all. And that's what we have to do as parents. We have to honor our word as well. You're grounded for a week. You don't get the car keys. You don't get the screen. You don't stand by it. Stand by it, parents. Solidarity. I get it. It's rough out there. I'm not the expert. I've got my lumps from raising kids, but stand by your word. Hey, something I wanted to talk to last time, we talked about veterans earlier. So veterans, I want you to go check out this website. Go Google it. I don't know if it's a .org or a .com, but We Defy Foundation. Have you heard about that? So the We Defy Foundation helps our veterans who have 80% or more disability that they're receiving from the VA. So the VA, by the way, I can get on the soapbox. The VA, you're dead to me, VA. I have stuff in my medical records, and you still deny it. Just be better. But anyways, all that being said, veterans, check it out. If you're 80% or more, We Defy Foundation, go check it out. They will help you in jiu-jitsu. They will pay, and they will cover the cost of, I believe, 1 year of jiu-jitsu and your gi. Take advantage of that. Go check it out. Take advantage of that. They have a list of schools. Carlos Machado's Mid-Cities, they are one of the schools. I highly encourage, if you're listening to this from another state, check it out. I know there's some schools out there as well that cover it. So veterans, get out there, get on the mats. I understand the PTSD aspect of it. I understand a lot of the issues that as veterans that we face, but the solidarity, the camaraderie that you're so longing. You will absolutely get that when someone's trying to make you unalive on the mats. So come out and join us. So
Did I ever tell you that I tried to join the military?
no, not at all. I was going to ask you that. So last episode we covered basically some of your background.
Dad's
up.
background.
Okay, your dad's background, and then you, of course, get into martial arts. Right. When was it that you decided, like, so end of high school year, Chance Burleson, hey, I could either go to college, I could do this, I could join the military. What'd you do?
Okay. So, there was never a part of me that didn't know that I wanted to teach martial arts for the rest of my life.
Okay.
Right? But I wasn't sure about the path.
Okay.
You know what I mean? Like how I would do that. One of the great things about teaching martial arts is that it affords you the ability to do it in many different ways.
Right.
Which I have done. But I was like, my dad served.
Okay.
And I believe one of my grandparents served, maybe both of them, I don't know. I was really never that close to my grandparents.
Okay.
That's one of the things that I love about my parents is that my children had very strong relationships with their grandparents. Right. But so I went in and talked to somebody, and I have, this was a lot of fun. So that is the same finger.
I did not.
You didn't know that? Of course you didn't. And we've been friends for a long time, right?
I did not know that.
Is that not the most adorable little pinky you've ever seen in your life?
I have been punched by that hand.
Yeah, you have.
Multiple times. Hard.
Yeah.
And I've never even noticed that.
So I have what's called Poland syndrome.
Oh, okay.
It's a kind of a rare birth defect.
Okay.
And in the parlance of our time, it is basically one side of my body did not cook all the way in the womb.
Okay.
So I don't have a pectoral on my left side, chest muscle. Okay. I don't have it, right? My fingers are really small. My lat on my left side's real small. So it's dwarfed on the left side of my body.
Okay.
Right? And apparently that knocked me out. That according to the guy I talked to at the recruiting office, because of my birth defect, I would not be an effective fighter.
I would love to go find that guy today and say, hey, remember when you said that he's not going to be an effective fighter?
And that's fine. So
what service?
I think it was the Marines.
Marines.
Yeah,
okay.
I was 17, 18 years old, so it was 1,000 years ago.
Right.
Yeah.
Okay.
It was just a recruiter.
Yeah.
So, so I just now kids don't do what I did. I was in high school and I was in what they call the work release program.
Oh, okay.
Okay.
All right.
Where you would go to school for half a day.
Right.
And then you would leave at lunch and you would go work. And so I was already running at the karate school at 17.
Okay.
Right. And so halfway through my senior year, I went in and talked to the counselor. And I said, according to my calculations, I only need 2 classes.
Okay.
I need 2 half credits to graduate. And he said, you're correct. I needed a half semester or a semester of economics and a semester of government. And that gave me what I needed to graduate. He said, you're correct. I said, well, then put me in those 2 classes and then I'll leave and go to work. And he said, no, that is not our policy. Our policy is if you're going to leave halfway through the school, then you have to be in the work release program and you have to do this. So you'll have to stay here longer than just those 2 classes. And then I thought, Mr. Helm, sorry, Mr. Helm, because I still remember this conversation.
Okay.
I said, if I were to walk out right now and then go back to summer school this summer and take those 2 classes, what would my diploma say? And he just looked down and he goes, it would say the same thing as everybody else's diploma in your graduating class. I said, have a good day, Mr. Helm. And I walked out. And then I worked all day for the rest of the semester, went to summer school that summer, took those 2 classes and graduated. Now, I didn't get to walk across the stage. I didn't get to wear the fun square hat.
Right.
But my diploma says exactly what it would have said if I had just not gone to graduation.
We need to make that happen. We need to have you walk across the mats with your cap and gown.
I will do it.
And do the little tassel.
And I want to throw it.
You want to throw it?
I want to throw it.
That'd be amazing.
So I did that. Graduated from high school in summer school.
Okay.
And I went and then just started teaching martial arts.
Okay.
Right? I didn't go to college till I was 23.
What did you study in college?
Well, that's the funny thing. I didn't have to go to college.
Right.
There was no reason for me to go to college. Now, if I was really smart, which I am not, I would have gone to college and gotten a business degree.
Okay.
But I think we've already established I don't love business.
Sure, you don't love
Right?
the business side.
Right.
I get it.
But I wanted the college experience. I wanted to be able to go and say, I mean, I didn't go live in a dorm or anything. So I went and got an associate's degree, and my major was Spanish
Okay.
because I really like speaking Spanish,
Sure.
right? We live in Texas. That is definitely a skill, right?
Right.
Did you know that there are more countries that speak Spanish than any other language in the world?
You know what? I think I do know that.
Yep.
I only think I know that is because Journey is taking Spanish and she loves Spanish. And I think she may have told me that a little
Did
bit.
you know that by the time the average man is 35 years old, he has over 5 pounds of undigested red meat in his lower intestine?
I don't think that's true.
No, it's not.
I don't think
But
that's true. But, it sounds
but
good.
you should be
Yeah.
you should
I
look
like
out. I majored in Spanish, which funny enough, I think has come in handy more than a business degree because of all of the Spanish speaking families.
Sure. Yeah. You speak it fluently, or
All right,
you
so
know enough for
if you
conversation.
put me in a Spanish speaking country for 2 weeks to a month, I
Right.
speak it fluently.
Right.
I speak it well enough to communicate as long as they go really slowly. I can say,
Right.
necesito practicar más, pero no tengo cualquier personas con quien practicar. Sin embargo, mis estudiantes en sus familias, which is the fastest thing I can say, and that means I need to practice my Spanish more, but I don't have anybody to practice with except my families, my students and their families.
So, true story. Most of my stories are probably about 95%.
They're mostly true.
They're mostly true.
Right.
Miriam says I like to
Embellish.
I don't know if it's. I don't like that embellish word. I like to say spice it up.
Spin
Spice
it.
it.
Yeah.
So we went for the first time as a family. We took a cruise last October with my friend who I've known in the military. He was my trainer in the military. I'm an air traffic controller, so he was my trainer. So anyway, we took a cruise. We left Miami. One of the ports, man, I know I'm going to mess this up. I think it was Puerto Rico. Journey, she can hold a conversation. She knows Spanish. She was like our translator. We were in a passenger van. Journey's riding shotgun. Got the driver, have another family and their little one in the middle seat, then Miriam and I in the back seat. And so Journey is talking Spanish to the driver, just yakking away. And I'm in the back seat, not hearing all of it. I'm like, hey, what did he say? They said, oh, the family, blah, 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 whatever it is. I said, okay. Journey's talking again. I'm like, hey, what did he say? Same thing. Hey, just say, this is what he said. Okay, cool. She's still talking, and I can't hear. I'm like, Journey, what did he say? She turns around and goes, Dad, he said it in English. And I was like, oh, all right, carry on, little one.
Right,
carry on. So you majored in Spanish.
You did.
So you got your associates? You don't have do you have your bachelor's?
No.
Okay.
No. So I got my associates because I went to Tarrant County Junior College, which is what it used to be called, and it will forever in my heart be TCJC.
Okay.
And tell you something about TCJC or TCC. It's real easy to get spoiled there because all of the professors are doctorate level.
Okay.
And they care a great deal about your education.
Right.
And it is the most affordable. It is the most modestly priced receptacle.
Right.
And so I had to leave. It was time for me to put away childish things and go out into the world and make my own way.
To be a man.
Yep.
I get it.
And so I transferred to UTA.
Okay.
For 1 semester. in which it was 3 times as expensive. My classes were taught by cocky grad students with ponytails. All of them had ponytails.
Hippies.
And they did not care at all about me learning anything.
Okay.
And I left.
Okay.
I was like, my college career's over. I don't want to do this anymore. Again, it was fine, only because I didn't actually have to do it to begin with.
Sure.
I just wanted the experience. And I did, when we talked about parents not letting your kids quit, I actually hadn't made a commitment that I was going to get a bachelor's.
Right.
I just wanted to kind of put my toe in the pool and see what it was like.
Yeah.
I got the associates. I stepped into the bachelor pool and I was like, yep, I don't want to do this anymore.
Right.
I'm going to go back and work on my business. So,
Okay.
yeah.
Oh, very good. So here's my college life, by the way. So I was 12 years old and I grew up in Norfolk, Virginia, covered that. And my old scoutmaster, because earned my Eagle Scout.
You're an Eagle Scout.
I am an Eagle Scout. I don't know if I ever told you that.
Holy
I am
cow.
an Eagle Scout. So, but my old scoutmaster was a pilot in the Navy. And we took a tour to the radar facility on base. He flew, landed on carriers, pretty cool stuff. But anyways, he took us in the control room for air traffic and said the voice that he likes to hear is the calm, collective voice of an air traffic controller when he's in the middle of a storm, when there's a storm. And I looked around and I was like, it looks like a video game. I'm in. I want to do this job. I had no idea how to do it though. I get into high school. I leave middle school, a boy, right? National Junior Honor Society, 3.9, whatever GPA. I get into high school. I'm surrounded by women. 14-year-old or 15-year-old, however I was, Jimmy Klaus, was surrounded by senior ladies.
Shangri-La.
It was wild.
Yeah.
Now, we'll probably get into this in future episodes, but my family put the fun in dysfunctional.
Yeah, sure.
My old man was alcoholic, abusive, just all sorts of stuff that I saw. But I went into my senior year in high school with a 1.9 GPA. Now, I shared this with my kids. What do you think my kids cling on to?
The 1.9.
The one they don't care that dad has a bachelor's or a master's degree.
Sure.
You had a 1.9, Dad, and you're getting on me for getting a C or a B.
Right.
Okay. I love kids, but I love my children. By the time you guys get here, I love you guys. However, they want to hold on to the negative. But anyways, all that to say, I was on the swim team, and so I won, and I could hold my own. I was fairly good. I had spoken to University of North Carolina in Stanford for swimming. However, my GPA was absolutely horrible.
Because you had a
I
1.9.
had a 1.9 GPA. Went into my senior year, I had to really buckle down. Didn't swim my senior year because, well, I needed to double up on English both semesters in order to graduate. So I had no idea about college. All I knew was I needed to get out of my house because of just the dysfunctionality, the abuse, the alcoholism, everything else. So I had spoken to the recruiter. And I took the ASVAB, scored really well, spoke to the Navy recruiter and the Air Force recruiter. All I knew was I wanted the GI Bill because I didn't want debt. I had no idea how to get in air traffic though, because I wanted to be an air traffic controller. So my idea was go in the military, do 4 years, get the GI Bill, go to college, make a living, do however it was. Even though, by the way, parents and kids, you could learn from even a bad example. You learn from a good example, bad example. My old man, he was a workaholic. He was really good. However, once he got home, So the one thing that I do credit my old man with is telling me, hey, let's go talk to the Air Force recruiter. I had paperwork drawn up to be a rescue swimmer in the Navy. And before I signed it, he said, hey, you mentioned you want to be an air traffic controller. Let's go talk to the Air Force guy. So I talked to the Air Force guy. And I didn't know at the time, but still, we didn't even talk about air traffic. We just talked about Air Force. I wanted to go to college. I actually went in with the idea of being a chaplain's assistant. for the Air Force. Now, once I get to basic training, my drill instructor actually pulled me aside and said, "Listen, I've never done this before with any of the students." This is when we were at the at HR or whatever headquarters, I think, getting ready to sign for our jobs. He goes, "Listen," he goes, "I've never done this before." As he's yelling at me, he goes, "But you should really think about air traffic control or aerospace engineer because of your ASVAB scores." I was like, "Air traffic control." Now, the chaplain's assistant I didn't really want to deal with, dead bodies or whatever, all that stuff, whatever the chaplains did at the time. So I went in as an air traffic controller. So 18-year-old Jimmy Klaus, by the time I was 19, I'm certified. So imagine multi-million-dollar airplanes with me behind the radar scope, behind the mic, making sure planes don't crash. That was amazing. It's kind of like the same thing when 18-year-olds join the military as military police, and we just give them a gun and an M16 and go, "Cheers, buddy. Enjoy. You got this." All that to say, got the GI Bill. So I got my bachelor's degree from Embry-Riddle Aeronautical University while I was in the Air Force. Only had to pay the tuition assistance, whatever. It was like maybe $150 at the time.
Wow. So
got the bachelor's degree, got out. Only had a few classes left to get my master's degree. Using my GI Bill, I was in my 30s when I had a year left of my GI Bill. So in my 30s, took a semester at TCU. Let me tell you, I was older.
Yeah, of course.
Than one of my professors, one of my teachers.
Yeah.
So I'd take history. I wanted to learn history, so I learned European history, history of Iran. And I was like, I need one more history class to get the full benefit of the GI Bill. History of dance.
Oh, fun.
History of dance I took. So stadium, sort of seating, whatever, if you will, teacher down there. She goes, "Hey, you need to form a group. Get a group, pick the 3 or 4 around you for your first project." So I was like, "Okay, got you. We all form a group." They're young, man. They're 18, 19-year-old kids. And I said, "Okay, listen, I have no time to wait on you. I will do the entire project. All you have to do is just do this little piece, send it to me. I will put it in a PowerPoint. We're done. I can't wait." Okay. Second project, and I did. We got an A. Second project. Now the teacher wants us to find different. So apparently word got around to these kids in the class.
You're the guy to partner with.
Hey, the old man over there. I'm in my 30s. I'm not that old.
Right.
Hey, the old man over there. Go partner with him, and he'll do the work. So, me and 4 TCU showgirls are now in the group.
Sounds awful.
So, here's the awful part. So, I tell Miriam, my lovely bride, this story, but we'll get to that part in a second.
Sure.
So, they're like, "Hey, Jimmy, do you want to go to our dorm and do the project?" I'm like, No, I don't. Thank you for asking. "Well, can we have your number?" No, sorry. "No, you cannot have my number." "Well, what email? Can I email you?" I'm like, "Okay, I have a TCU email, .edu. You can have that. You can email my school email." "Well, where do you want to meet?" Tell you what, there's a library. We will do our work at a library. Me, I'm not.
We're gonna meet in the church.
We are meeting. We are
meeting in the chapel.
We are. I'm like, no. So of course I go home and I tell my lovely bride, "Hey, I just want you to know."
Sure.
Kind of like I still got it.
Sure.
Had these TCU showgirls. I was like, I think they want me. Trying to get her all right. You know what she says?
What?
"They can have you." I was like, what? I was like, oh, talk about your all-time backfires. And they were young enough that it could be a babysitter for our kids at the time. But anyways, all that to say, being in your 30s and going back to college and being established in a career, you can see how academia is trying to, like, I can be a professor and I can spit something out crazy to these kids.
Right.
And they're like, "Oh yeah." Right. All because they want. I don't want to say to war, but I had a professor who very first day, don't know where she is, very first day saying, I don't like the military. She didn't know anything.
Sure.
She had no idea of the military. So when she went around asking everybody who they were, I was like, oh, so she was also from Egypt, though. And so she came, and of course she spouted off how she didn't like the U.S. military. And so when she got to the introduction to me, I'm like, I'm Jimmy Klaus, military veteran, served Operation Southern Watch.
Right.
I said, and I'm glad that you are able to have a platform to tell these students that you don't like the military, because somebody had died to give you the freedom to say you don't like the military. Anyways, needless to say, I got a D- in that class
Sure.
at the end of it. So anyways.
So one of the things that I think is so important, talking about, going to college and learning and all this kind of stuff, is so Professor Philip Bullock at Carlos Machado
Right.
Jiu-Jitsu Mid-Cities is my jiu-jitsu teacher. Blas Verasco is my Muay Thai teacher. Tom Hogue is my Kali teacher. And the reason that I think this is so important is I believe that if we don't have what the Japanese called Shoshin, which is the beginner's mind, a part of us actually gets old. The most important part of us gets old, which is that discovery and that learning and that developing a new skill or a new type of knowledge. And my teacher, Hanshi Kovar, is big on that white belt mentality.
Absolutely.
We have to stay that. And the thing is that I think I get an undeserved accolade for being willing to take off my black belt and put on a white belt. And I don't know if maybe that's just not that common.
Right.
But the people that I grew up with did. Chuck Norris took off his white belt, or his black belt, and became a white belt in jiu-jitsu.
Oh, absolutely.
My dad took off his black belt and became so that's the example that has been set for me, is that if you want your black belt to really mean something, continue to take it off.
Absolutely.
And become a white belt. But I think something in our mind actually starts to grow old when we stop doing that. And you don't have to be college age or even in your 30s or 40s to develop that new skill.
Absolutely.
It doesn't have to be a physical skill. It can be a musical skill or an art skill or a knowledge skill, but something where you have no idea what you're doing and you apply the principle of mentorship.
Ooh, that's good.
You have a thing that I don't have. Will you share it with me? And here's the beautiful thing about that, Jimmy. That doesn't just help me.
Right.
It helps you.
Yep.
Because if you look at that yin and yang symbol of the male, female, hot, cold, up, down, Hatfield, McCoy, whatever, right?
Sure.
The other half of knowledge is teaching. It's the imparting that knowledge. So if I have to show you how to do a thing that I think I know, I learn it in a completely different way myself while teaching it to you.
Absolutely. Yeah, that's good.
That's
really good. Yep.
So not everybody has to be a teacher, but if you're never teaching anyone anything, then you haven't actually learned the other half of it yourself.
Oh, that's good.
Does that make sense?
Oh,
I
that's
really
perfect.
believe that.
Absolutely. Never stop learning.
No.
That's a good note to kind of end this episode 2 on is parents, even you.
Yep.
Never stop learning. Kids, never stop learning. Always be willing to have that white belt mentality no matter what you do.
Mm-hmm.
Like if you decide never to get on the mats, that's okay. Right? I mean, I hope that everybody does.
Get on some kind of mat.
Get on some kind of mat. Whether and your mat might be learning a new language, learning a new skill, learning music, as you said. Cooking, anything, right? That is your white belt mentality.
Right.
But I will end for my part in this. By the way, thank you for listening. Thank you for tuning in. Please go like us. We've created a Facebook page, the Legends and Dragons podcast. I haven't finished creating the Instagram yet, but we're also on YouTube. Give us a like, give us a follow, go share with your friends. But I will say this: you mentioned Chuck Norris, Talon. On the after the last podcast, we said, he goes, Dad, can I be there when you guys interview Chuck Norris? when are you having Chuck Norris on? So
He's actually right over there.
yeah. So what we'll do is, hey, stay tuned. We're going to invite our friends to interview with us. Again, never stop learning. You got anything else to end this?
I don't know. It was beautiful. It was beautiful. I want to thank my friend Jimmy. I want to thank, all the people, all the martial artists that we know that add to our lives, and through us to people we teach. I know I've talked about them. Jimmy's talked about them. Go look at these guys up. Excel Academy Taekwondo, Carlos Machado Jiu-Jitsu Mid-Cities. I also have a lot of friends that go to Sloth. Sloth is a great school. It's in Euless. Yeah. Thanks, everyone. Appreciate it.
See you guys on episode 3. Thank you so much for tuning in. That's good.